Hello everybody, I'm Mrs. Mathur and we are cooking a very easy pasta recipe today called pasta cheese. This is a recipe shared with me by a colleague of mine, Donna Santa Barbara, and she said this was her mother-in-law's recipe. It's so easy to put together. You only need staples that you probably already have in your pantry. So go ahead and try this one. I've already set up the ingredients over here that you're going to need. All you need is some kind of pasta. Smaller size is better, like a ditalini or small elbow pasta would be very nice. I got some olive oil here, some salt, a can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. They're also called garbanzo beans. We got some parsley. Crushed red pepper, optional. We also have some Parmesan cheese, and I also have a handful of spinach over here. I have some garlic that I'm going to crush up, and also some black pepper. So the first thing that you're going to do when you are thinking of making this pasta is find a pot, fill it up with water, and turn the stove on high heat this time so that the water can come to a boil quickly. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is put a pot of water on the stove for boiling. The first thing that I've done here is I've put some water for boiling. It's okay to have a cover on until the water comes to a boil. How do you recognize the water has come to a boil? You need to look for bubbles that rise up and then pop. When bubbles are rising up and popping, it means the water has come to a boiling temperature. At this point, I'm going to add some salt to it. It's important to salt the pasta water really well for good flavor. I'm going to add about a little less than a tablespoon. That's about half a tablespoon of salt. If you have more water or a bigger pot, you need to add more salt to it. So now what I'm going to do is add some pasta to it. So we are using 1.5 cups of this whole grain, small size elbow macaroni. So I'm going to put that in. That was 1 cup, and this is approximately 1/2 cup. So I'm going to put 1.5 cups of it and just wait. Now, how long to cook this for? It really depends on the kind of pasta you're using. You should read the package carefully and follow the package directions. If the package says 9 minutes, cook it for 8 minutes, I'd say, because you're going to cook it another minute in the sauce. So it's a good idea to cook it a little less rather than overcook your pasta. The pasta should have a little bite to it when you take it out of the saucepan, and it's called al dente. This pasta says 9 minutes, so I'll just cook it for 8 minutes, drain it, and then use it because it'll cook in the sauce for 1 minute. I'll just let this pasta cook over here, and I'll move to prepare my other ingredients. So look over here. I have another saucepan that is preheating now. This I'll keep on medium heat, and I'll add some olive oil to it when it has preheated, and then add the other ingredients. So there's our timer for the pasta. I'm going to turn this off, and very carefully, after informing the people around me that I have a hot saucepan in my hand, I will carry it to the sink area where I have a colander already set up. Remember, you want to touch this handle and see if this handle is hot. Sometimes it can get hot, and in that case you might need to use a hot pad to carry it. I think this handle is pretty safe to carry to the sink, so I'm just going to hold it like this. I should clear the kitchen timer because it's beeping. And I'm going to carry this to the sink very carefully. Let people know around you. So here it's going to the sink. And I have this colander already set up. So I'm just going to pour it right here. I'll leave the saucepan on the side to cool off. I let this pasta sit here for a little bit. To prepare the sauce, you want to first preheat the pan, and I can feel a good amount of heat coming into this my hand of mine when I'm waving it over the frying pan, which means the skillet is ready. So I am going to now add about a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. One swirl is about a tablespoon, another one is another tablespoon, and I'm going to just move it around. You can always measure. And I'm going to prep the garlic very quickly. I have some garlic here. You can always use pre-crushed garlic. You can whack it like that with the back of the knife remove the papery skin, crush it fine, and add it to the frying pan. So now once you add the garlic to the oil, make sure that the oil is not too hot, otherwise the garlic turns brown and bitter. So it's better to lower the heat. So I'm just going to add some, and I can hear the garlic do a little sizzle down there. So that means the oil is hot. I have to be careful and stir it around quickly, otherwise it will burn really fast. If the garlic turns brown and black, that means it may taste bitter to you. So you might want to start all over again. So here I'm just stirring the garlic. Just to know if the garlic is cooking, see that the garlic will do a little dance in the oil. If you don't see the garlic dancing, it means it's not cooking. So then it'll taste raw. So give it some time. Here you can see my garlic doing a little dance in the oil. And that way the flavor of the oil oozes into the garlic, and also the flavor of garlic goes into the oil. So that makes it a good match and a yummy oil mixture to add your pasta to. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these chickpeas. I've drained them and I've reserved some of the liquid. So chickpeas go in first and let these simmer for a couple of minutes. I've already added some black pepper, a pinch or two, and a pinch or two of crushed red pepper. Those are optional ingredients. You don't have to add them. You can see that it's starting to simmer a little bit. And now I'm going to carry the pasta over to this pan and add it here. So if you notice, I was carrying this colander of pasta and I tried to keep a bowl under here just so that if there's any dripping water, it doesn't land on the floor. And once you see this liquid simmering for a little bit of time, give it a couple of minutes. Just so that, once again, you want the flavor of garlic and oil to get into the chickpeas as well. So it's been 2 minutes and I'm ready to add this pasta. Stir it around. One nice addition to this pasta would be some parsley. So you can sprinkle some dry parsley on it. You can also do fresh parsley. That would be awesome. And then the last thing to add would be 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Stir that around. I often add a cup or two of baby spinach to it. I usually add it at the end because it doesn't really need to cook all the way, but if you like it fully cooked, you can also add it sooner so that it cooks a little bit. It'll wilt down a little bit in this. So now we have spinach there, we have Parmesan cheese, we got some dry parsley. You can always add fresh parsley. And look for a little bit of sauce in there. So there should be some amount of sauce in there. If it is looking very dry to you, you can use the reserved pasta water or reserved chickpea water that you have saved. So if it looks very dry, you can add a little bit of this. You can always check for salt. If you feel it needs a little bit more salt, go ahead and add that, because remember, we didn't add any salt after we boil the pasta water because chickpeas have some salt of their own, so there's usually no need to add any more. And here it is, a super easy pasta cheese. Try it at home and let me know how you like it.